Wingy Boxing, IFL TV, in association with MTK Global. I'm here with Don Charles. We've just had the Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora 2 presser, or the first announcement. What are your overall thoughts? How do you feel about this fight? It's here now.
Well, it's a fight that we wanted for quite a couple of years now. Or Derek, he's the fighter, and basically to set the record straight, as you know, the first encounter was a magnificent fight, and Derek didn't deserve to be called a loser in that fight. Like I said, I've said it publicly, I've said it privately, the right result would have been a draw, yeah? But that wasn't the case. Dillian was awarded the victory. But here, guess what? We're going to set the record straight.
The Takam fight seems to have injected a lot of enthusiasm behind Chisora's career now. A lot of people are on board, a lot more so than before. Mm-hmm. Is this a new Chisora genuinely that we're seeing, or is it the same Chisora? Or what were your thoughts on that fight?
With the Takam, regards to the Takam fight, I mean, look, like I said, prior to the fight, Chisora was written off by literally everybody. Okay, he was a written off man, and I can also understand why the public would have written my guy off, because you know we've been hit and miss in the recent years, especially the loss we took against Caballero in Monaco. And for any neutrals watching, if they know what, Chisora is finished. But what people don't realize in every sportsman's life, whether it's a boxer, cricketer, tennis, people have stuff on the outside of, apart from the sport they're doing. There's a lot of things going on with Derek's private life which affects what people do in their industry. So what he's managed to do was to tidy up and sort out a lot of personal issues, right? Hence why when the public wrote him off, they wrote him off on the basis of what they saw. So I make the public right in their assumptions. But like I said, he had a lot of things to sort out, which is taken care of, and hence why you see, when we say new Chisora, it's the same Chisora, except for a Chisora that has cleaned up his act away from the sport that he does.
Do you feel perhaps Dillian Whyte may have underestimated Chisora the first time around, which is why the fight was close, or do you feel do you think that's a disservice to Chisora to suggest that?
Yeah, I mean, I can get into what you just asked me. Basically, I don't think it's been well documented that myself and Derek Chisora hadn't worked together for 2 years leading up to that Dillian Whyte fight.
Can I ask why that was, or is that personal?
Pardon me?
Can I ask why that was, or is that personal?
We had a split. After the Tyson Fury loss, the second Fury loss, myself and Derek decided to go our own ways.
Why was that?
Because I believed I'd taken him as far as I could take him, okay? That was an eliminator. The winner was to go on to fight Vladimir, okay? And I was so convinced as a coach that Derek will be victorious against Fury in the second fight, because based on what he was doing in sparring, in preparation, and it was probably one of the worst performances he's done under me. So I had to go and look at myself as a coach. Can I do any more for this young man? I'm a very honest man. The answer was at that point, no, I couldn't do any more, because that was my best. Okay, then it was the right thing for me to do all right, Johnny. The right thing for me to do was to have stepped aside and say, look for somebody. I even recommended trainers who he could go to that would perhaps take him to win a version of the world title. So I did a very honorable thing. So we decided to part ways. That it was a 2-year gap. Then when I saw him fighting Pulev, I wasn't training Derek at that point. I had to switch the TV off because I felt sad, because that wasn't my boy in there.
Yeah.
Okay? So I felt really, really sad after that fight. And I called him, I said, listen, come and see me, because it's either you're going to have to stop boxing, yeah? Because that wasn't him in there. He came to see me, and we had a chat. We rekindled, and I told him, I've examined myself, I've examined you, I know what's wrong. So let's go back and once upon a time we had successes in boxing. We had to retrace his roots, all the things he did that brought the victories that we did have. Okay, let's retrace your roots. Like I said, that fight with Dillian Whyte was after 2-year absence from myself, his original coach. So what you saw there was 50% of Derek Chisora. People are going, wow, what a performance. So that was 50% of what he can now do. So there you have it.
What role does David Haye play in the sort of coaching / training with you there as well? Because there were some people who were thinking you might not sort of be here today and it might be David. So what role, how does that all work? Is it just advisory? Is it management?
No. He's very instrumental in the whole thing. He's a manager. Also, can I add, this is probably the first time in Derek Chisora's professional boxing career there's actually had a manager who's going to do a 360-degree management, the full service, right? David Haye has an infrastructure that's tested, trialed, it works. So basically, when Derek approached him, it was a genius idea. Initially, I rejected it. I said to Derek, "What are you doing?" It took me about 120 seconds, that's 2 minutes, for it to sink in, digest it, and I went back to Derek. I said, "You know what? If David agrees to do this, that's a genius move by yourself." Yeah, and I believe I'm right. I believe Derek is right in coming to that conclusion. What David brings, it brings an awful lot. Where do I start? Too many things. He oversees everything. Yeah, he's also intelligent enough to recognize that the problem why we haven't won a world title is not necessarily to do with the boxing. There are other areas that needed addressing, and David, from having done it himself, is able to point us collectively, myself and the fighter. I'm always willing to look at how people who succeeded, how did they succeed? You know, it's very marginal in life between success and failure. We've come so close numerous times. We took Vitaly Klitschko, who was the most feared heavyweight at the time when Derek Chisora fought him. You don't go 12 rounds with him and actually win rounds if you didn't have something about you, if you weren't doing something right. Derek has won European, British, Commonwealth, international, multiple international belts. But the only thing that eluded both of us was the world title. There's got to be a reason for it. I believe David Haye is going to, that final piece of jigsaw to complete the picture.
I was going to ask you, are you happy with your career as a coach so far? Or is it just, I think you just kind of answered it. Are you looking for that world title for Derek Chisora to be satisfied with where you are, or are you content with your career as a coach?
No, I'm not. I'm very ambitious. I'm an African man. I'm very, very ambitious. I'm also very grateful. If my career as a coach ended today, God forbid, I can walk away with my head held up high because I've actually overachieved based on, I came from nowhere. Nobody knew who I was. Yeah. And through the success that Derek Chisora has had, obviously it brought light to myself to be recognized as a coach. Okay, so if it all ended today, I could gladly be happy of what I've achieved so far. I've trained also other fighters. I've trained 5 British champions. Yeah, but I'm only known for Derek Chisora, obviously. I'm very proud of that. But there's other victories, other fighters that I've trained and had success. But I've never, as a coach, won a world title.
And that's obviously that's what
that is my quest. And after Derek does it, because in terms of if he was my biological child, he's not. If he were, he's my firstborn. He's my firstborn in boxing. He gave birth to me as a trainer. He brought light to me, and I will always owe him that. But I've also asked him numerous times, son, deliver. We need to win a world title. He's good enough, especially in this current market. He's good enough to, and all the experience we've acquired, all the mistakes we've made, we've learned from loads of different, so we've got bags and bags of experience collectively with the addition of Mr. Haye, I can't see us going wrong now. I really can't.
I know your mind's obviously on your fight, but I would like your technical analysis as a coach on Wilder Fury. It looks like it's happening. Well, it is happening. People didn't think it would, but we're almost there. How do you feel Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury plays out in the ring, sort of like technically, if you could break that down?
Technically, Fury is wrong for everybody. Fury is wrong for Fury. Okay, so when a man is unconventional, when a man is unpredictable, it's probably the worst person to face. The man, you can't, how do you train, how do you prepare for a guy? I can say this firsthand because I have trained Derek Chisora to fight Fury twice. And he just changed everything, a game plan. We trained one way, and on the night he just came with something totally different. So it's obviously Wilder's got the punch power. Yeah, if it hits you, you're gonna go. But it's very tricky to hit Fury to get a clean shot on him. Yeah, so this fight is two ways, in my opinion. If Wilder is able to connect within 12 rounds, he wins. Fury is gonna just pull him. You know, he might go southpaw, he might go westpaw, he might go east, he might go north.
Might start doing the Muhammad Ali on the ropes with the arms up.
He's gonna go all paws.
Yeah.
And really and truly, it's hard for me to sit here or stand here, should I say, and call a winner. Fury's inactivity might play a part of his absence from the ring. So, yeah, that may play a part. I don't normally sit on the fence. I'm going to sit on the fence.
That's no problem. Don, thank you for speaking to Wingy Boxing, IFL TV. Profound as always. Enjoyed it. And good luck in December with the fight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
All right, my man.
Thank you.